morning. We've been chatting all hour with Bob McTeer. He is the former president of the Dallas Federal Reserve Bank. He is also the distinguished fellow at the National Center for Policy Analysis. We're joined right now on a roundtable not only by Mr. McTeer, but also by Dr. Robert Hirsch. Dr. Hirsch is a senior energy advisor at Management Information Services. And Dr. Hirsch, thank you for joining us this morning.
Sure.
You know, we've been talking all morning long about energy prices. Watching crude oil prices touch above $127 for the first time overnight leads a lot of people to start wondering about peak oil and the peak oil theory. You've been writing about peak oil for some time, so did you see this coming?
Yes, we did. Not quite the way it's turned out, but this is not a surprise.
You say not quite the way it's turned out. What's happened that's different than you were predicting?
Well, I wasn't particularly predicting. I'm a student of this and have focused on what we do about the problem after it really hits. Peak oil has the idea is that it would hit a sharp peak and then production in the world would hit a sharp peak and then drop off. And what's happened is that we've hit a plateau in world oil production, and that plateau has been ongoing since about the middle of 2004.
Dr. Hirsch, there are a lot of people when we talk about peak oil who say there are going to be new technologies that are always developed. There will be new ways to get oil, whether it's from coal, whether it's from the oil shales, and they say that means we will never actually hit peak oil. What do you say to those people?
They're incorrect, and the reason that they're incorrect is that they don't understand the magnitude of the problem and how long it's going to take to bring substitute liquid fuels on and to introduce energy efficiency on a massive scale. That's something that we analyzed, and it takes decades, and the reason simply is that the magnitude of the problem is enormous.
You know, Bob, I know you are not an oil expert, so I'm not going to try and pin you down on peak oil theory, but clearly inflation is something that consumers are struggling with as we watch these higher prices at the pump. You said yourself you paid almost $4 a gallon for filling up your car yesterday. Do you think inflation like this continues? If we have hit some sort of limits, does oil continue to climb?
I think the oil price has a good bit of bubble in it. I can't imagine it staying at this level permanently. I think it'll go down a little, eventually go back up. On what to do about it, I think I'm going to go to the office after this, and I'm going to write a 4-word blog posting. It's going to say, drill more, pay less. While we're waiting on alternative fuels, it's silly for us to put so many places off limits to drilling, while countries like Brazil can go out there and just do it and hit it big. We ought to be drilling more.
Dr. Hirsch, what do you say to that? The idea that we should be drilling in places like Anwar and drilling offshore, would that solve this problem of a plateau in oil production?
There's no single thing that's going to solve this problem because it's as massive as one can possibly imagine. And the prices that we're paying at the pump today I think are going to be the good old days, because others who watch this very closely forecast that we're going to be hitting $12 and $15 per gallon. And then after that, when world oil production goes into decline, we're going to talk about rationing. In other words, not only are we going to be paying high prices and have considerable economic problems, but in addition to that, we're not going to be able to get the fuel when we want it.